Life is a game of extremes. The have-nots and the have-yachts, as they like to say. You're either the leader or the follower. You either get girls or you don't. And when you're on the end of the spectrum that you don't want to be in, the losing side, figuring out how to get to the top, it's frustrating. You know you obviously need to do something differently, but the question is what? Luckily, I have 4 nuggets of wisdom that I'm gonna drop on you guys today, which is gonna absolutely change your trajectory of life into being high value, into being a top 1% man. But first, real quick, if you've ever wanted to get in contact with me one-on-one to go over your specific dating life, diagnose what might be some of your issues, and then resolve them together, then maybe you should schedule a call with me and see if we'd be a good match to work together. Just check out the link in the description box below to learn more. So, the first rule of game you need to know to become a top 1% man is understanding a man's role. See, I believe that men and women have different strengths and weaknesses. We specialize in different areas so that we can get more accomplished as a team. And as a man, the reality is the world doesn't owe you much. In fact, the world really doesn't care about you at all. See, unlike women who are born with intrinsic value, meaning all they have to do is be beautiful and pleasant in order to get male attention, men must become. It's a hard thing to become a 1% man because you need utter discipline. You need to do the hard work that you don't want to do simply because you know you have to get things done. And inevitably, you're gonna run into obstacles. You're gonna face doubt, insecurity, misery, while you're climbing your way to the top. But here's the thing. As a man who knows the rules of a top 1% man, you know that the worst thing you can do is to vent to your girl about how hard everything is and look for her assurance that things are gonna be okay. This is cause as a man, you're expected to be the captain of the ship when things get rocky. You're expected to be the one who gives emotional support to your woman, not the other way around. I know this is controversial and I'm gonna get hate for it, but top level guys understand deep down that even if it's just on a subconscious level, a woman will lose a bit of respect if they don't feel secure that their man can figure things out, no matter how bad things get. I always tell guys, if you need advice, like real advice, surround yourself with capable, high-value men and ask them for advice. Your brothers, the other members of your wolf pack who are also on their journey to success, will give you better advice when it comes to your real struggles. Now, the second rule of the top 1% is a rather natural extension of the previous rule, which is understanding a woman's role. See, a high-level guy understands that a woman complements him on his quest for success and whatever goals he has in mind. He understands how valuable a woman, the right woman, is when it comes to making his life easier. And in exchange, he protects her, he provides for her. And this is the type of gender role that modern society might criticize as out of date or patriarchal. But it's simply how our species has evolved to become the most effective. Listen, I love women. In fact, I have a whole YouTube channel talking about dating and relationships because I genuinely believe that finding the right partner leads to true happiness and contentment. But I just don't believe that humans can override thousands of years of evolutionary psychology. As a top 1% man, you know how important women are. They nurture our future generation, they have a special healing effect on you, especially after a day's work. A woman's presence and grace can inspire men to literally move mountains. If you understand her role and you're clear about finding a woman who understands her role, given that you understand yours, then together as a team, y'all will be a power couple. Rule number 3 is understanding how important it is to vet girls and how to do it effectively. When she shows you a red flag like constantly texting on her phone while you're on a date or being rude to the waiter, it's usually a pretty good sign to peace on out of there. But sometimes a girl's red flags won't be so obvious. especially if she has an incentive to be dishonest with you. For example, let's say you have a personal preference of girls with a lower body count, and so you ask a girl how many guys she's been with before, and she tells you 3, even though she just happened to neglect mentioning the other 14 guys she hooked up with last year. How would you know the truth? Well, in situations like these, you kinda have to play a game with them. You know that a girl wouldn't be incentivized to tell you the truth if her number really was quite high. So then what you would do is to subtly use an indirect question to get your answer. For example, you could start off by talking about some crazy dating or sexual stories from your past, and then ask her in a fun tone, "So tell me, out of your last 6 hookups, which one was the most fun and which one was the one you regretted the most? I'll go first." If she really did have a lower body count, she'd immediately correct you and say she simply doesn't meet guys often. But if she did, she'd go along with the joking, playful vibe and would tell you about her past. This is just one example, guys. Red flags can be about anything. Another example could be that you're flirting with a girl, but you're not sure if she's single or not. You could simply joke and say, "You sure your mans is okay with you chatting up a cutie like me?" Again, the truth will reveal itself. You can't just directly ask it to her like an interrogation. You have to be more indirect, more subtle. Like a professional poker player who's about to call someone's bluff or get someone to reveal more information. And then the final rule that only 1% of men know is the power of lifestyle. Look, any high-value man knows how important logistics is. You could have all the game in the world, but if there are no women in your city, or if you don't speak the language of the country you're living in, then you're still gonna struggle with your dating results. See, there's 2 forms of seduction, active and passive. With active, you're literally in front of the girl doing the talking, vibing with her and engaging physically. But with passive game, a lot of the work is being done for you without you even having to do anything. One example is if you have a lot of social status and when you walk into a room, everyone immediately flocks over to you. Another would be living a cool, interesting life, like say you're constantly traveling, or you play an interesting sport, or you live in a really nice high-rise condo with an infinity pool on the rooftop. And then if you put some stories on Instagram or other social media, you would immediately be conveying high value to everyone in your social network. Now, of course, most of the time, to have an optimized lifestyle for dating would require you to be financially independent or location independent. But the point is, having a solid lifestyle setup should be a goal that all young men should be aiming to achieve. It might not come so easy depending on your circumstance, but when you do finally attain it, well then dating becomes 10 times easier and more fun. So that's it for the video, and to summarize today, we talked about the 4 rules of game you need to know, which again are understanding both men and women's roles, how to effectively vet women, and then tapping into the power of a solid lifestyle setup. Next week, I have another banger you're not going to want to miss, so make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. Peace.